Mentfunding is a new prop firm started by a smart money YouTuber and is shaking up the industry by having no minimum nor maximum trading days, having up to a $1 million one-step account, and all accounts are live once they are funded. For the first time in history, we now get to see MentFX in person for this interview for the launch of his brand new prop firm. Here he is.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be on.
It's so nice to have you on my channel in person, and to get the interview started, I wanted to start our conversation by having you tell our viewers why you made Ment Funding.
Well, I wanted to start a prop firm a really long time ago, but I didn't really know how to start one. I was really unsure. And over the time, I saw a lot of my students succeeding in the market and turning over large gains on big funded accounts or even on their own accounts. But I also saw a lot of them failing for rules that I myself didn't really like. So I knew a shift in the industry was necessary, but with the huge rewards and the things my students were able to do in a lot of these prop firms, I also wanted to reap some of those rewards. So with my connection with Blake, as a lot of you might know, I've known him for over a year and a half now, and he's become very proficient in the prop firm space, from reviewing the best firms to the worst. And basically his word is a go-to. So with his understanding of the environment that encompasses prop firms, good and bad, I wanted to create something in the prop firm space that was considered and bundled with all the good, but also was different, right? I didn't want to take my name, MentFX, whatever, and just slap it onto a new model that was, step 1, 30 days, step 2, 60 days. Basically the same model that FTMO has released and has been really successful with, right? FTMO is a great model, but I think it's crazy to see how people kind of just brand slap. I had to make some shifts to see a new kind of model be presented to traders. At the same time, with Blake's connections, I was able to be hooked up with some whales or large investors, which were willing to actually fund traders. And we came to the agreement to make it fair on both parties. And those are the parameters and some of the reasons for the parameters you see today.
Why do you think the prop firm industry needed such a large shift?
So I think the prop firm industry is phenomenal. I love the fact that someone can now take the time to actually understand what they're doing in the space and then just get funded with capital that, you'd have to wait 30, 40, 50 years to amass over a period of time. So I think the funding space is actually phenomenal. And I think a lot of the things presented are really great. However, and a lot of people will probably agree with this, and we've seen some agreement already with the release of Ment Funding, a lot of those firms were set up in more of a gambling environment, right? You'd have accounts that were made to be simulated, a lot of fake accounts, a lot of paying out on behalf of failed traders to the traders that are actually doing well, and kind of this hope on behalf of the prop firm that the failed would outweigh the profitable, and that simulated environment would allow for this failure to kind of seep into and cover everything that's here, right? And we've seen some of the problems with that, definitely with some firms. I don't want to name anything right now. And we've seen the failure that comes with making a model like that, even though it may be profitable or considered really good, and the parameters might be amazing in the very beginning. So I wanted to introduce a model that was different from everything we saw, and now we have Ment Funding.
With your firm, can you guarantee funded traders will receive real funds back in their trades on their funded accounts?
Yes, actually we can. So we signed a contract with investors that locks in our funding for far into the future, but it also locks in, as some of you might know, most of the parameters presented on the website. So although the parameters people might want changes to, we're going to keep those stable as to allow real funding to be given to traders under a model that, again, Ment Funding and investors were able to agree upon. So we're able to bring real funding and real accounts to the traders.
Do you personally have any control over these accounts?
No, I actually have no control over the accounts. I actually don't even have back-end control that allows me to make my own demo accounts or anything like that. I, as well as any other founders of the company, have to go through the evaluation process if I want to trade the prop firm money, just like anybody else will. I cannot go into the back end and change anyone's information. None of that basically happens. Because of the agreement that we've come to between investors and Ment Funding, we basically forego that right because we want to create a fair and equal playing field for everyone, including the founders.
So if that's the case, then what is your active role in Ment Funding?
Well, since I'm still the head of the company and the founder, in its most initial stages, I wanted to make sure that everything was made with the trader in mind, right? And presented in a way that was accessible and made sense. So I wanted to make sure there was no hidden rules, no nonsense, no associated fees, no weird rules, and really aim to benefit anyone that chose to pursue an account with us. right? So as the founder, I underlook most of the support. My ad one needs to be added to the website to clear any and all confusion as it boils up. As you may see, we attempt to highlight every aspect of the firm on the website, from the first time you buy a challenge or even before you buy it, to the broker presented, the tradable currencies, which is over 300, by the way, and the extremely low spreads, all of which is accessible still on the website, all the way to trading a full-time account with us, how it works, how payouts are processed, and anything of that nature. So basically, I write it on the website too. If it's on the website, those are all the rules you need to know. And I try to make that as clear as possible. Now, as the founder, I still hire out people on the back end to support your questions, to process the payouts properly and in a timely fashion, which are going to be pretty fast. And I do work on some of the marketing side. But as the head and knowing what my firm offers, because I was able to build that out in the initial stages, I know what it's going to offer into the foreseeable future. So I can confidently come on interviews in person, whatever it might be, and I can confidently market to my students, my mentorship, on my YouTube, and basically to anyone about the good aspects of my prop firm, the type of people the prop firm is for, and what you can expect if you are to trade for us.
So you talked a little bit about who this prop firm is best for, but really, who is the core audience of your prop firm? It's definitely not meant for everyone. I know you mentioned you have 8cap, which I think is an amazing broker. They have a huge reputation, and they also have quite a lot of instruments available. But who is the core audience for your prop firm?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny answer. I feel like every prop firm would say this, but I don't think it's actually the case a lot of the time. So Mentfunding is going to be built for consistent and profitable traders that actually understand their edge, have back tested their edge, and are ready to take it to the markets, but also ready to pursue trading as a full-time job. So basically, this is not a one-off fluke. It's not make money, get paid out quickly, lose an account, call it a day, restart a little bit later, have forced payouts every 30 days, hidden fees associated with those forced payouts. It's more so about amassing wealth past a certain threshold. So as some of you might know about the drawdown rule, past a certain threshold, building that account over a long period of time and allowing compounding to increase your lot sizes that you're able to use on the account, the way you trade on the account, the buying power on that account, and then withdrawing portions of that over time, which is actually what a real trading account looks like when you, for instance, choose to go solo with large accounts, right? A lot of it isn't just reset. It's build account, be ready to withdraw. Build account, be ready to withdraw. And I want to present that and bring that to the traders that are willing to actually approach that full time, which is also one of the reasons we're offering the 1 million funding program, because those traders can go and get funded with some of the highest firm money that you're going to be offered instantaneously, right? So the prop firm is definitely best for those that are consistent, profitable, and ready to do it full time and are willing to sacrifice potentially some risk in the beginning to really amass their wealth over a longer period of time.
Can you explain the difference between what a soft rule break is and a hard rule break, or something that will actually cause someone to lose their account?
Yeah, of course. So unlike other firms, we also try to approach this a little bit differently. Our soft rule breaks are actually quite simple. We have a required stop loss in the first 60 seconds and no weekend trades, which might be changed in the foreseeable future. However, if you are to basically infiltrate or violate one of these two rules, you're never going to lose an account. It's going to count as a soft violation, and we will automatically close your trade without ever banning you from trading with us, because we don't aim to fail you. We just want you to trade within our risk parameters. Now, a hard rule break is some of the things that you see on the very top of the website, which is your daily loss, your drawdown, and an inactivity period. The inactivity period is 45 days, which should never really be hit. So that's kind of off the menu, but keep it in mind. The 4% daily loss scales with your account. If you bring a $1 million to a $2 million account, your daily loss is 4% of that. And as you understand, even though our beginning 5% drawdown is quite low, you might argue, as you scale your account and build yourself up past that first rule and it locks in, it's going to be locked in there forever. So whether you have a $100,000 account and you make it to $1 million, or $1 million and make it to $2 million, your drawdown is going to be locked into that original account. And the only thing you're going to have to worry about is that daily loss. And the best part is, since again, this is not a simulated environment and it is real, if you are to infiltrate that 4% daily loss at any point and you have profit in that account, you'll be paid out on the profit still in that account, because it's real money and you've made that money. And just because you violate a rule and lose the account doesn't mean we won't pay you out.
Gotcha. And what's your opinion on this whole situation with this balance versus equity for the daily drawdown, and which style does Mentfunding use?
So I myself personally actually think that an equity model is very sneaky, and it's another one of those little gimmicky parameters that I've always believed was set up to fail traders, especially if they weren't just paying attention to the trade they're in. But we focus on the specific balance of the account. So, if you open a trade on Monday or Tuesday and you want to hold it out till Friday, every single day, as long as you don't close any portion of that profit, we are going to use the base balance that you had on that first day. The daily loss or drawdown is going to be based on that specific balance, which means you could be up 10K on an account and it will still have your drawdown below the initial 10K profit and below that even further, right? Because we base everything on balance, allowing traders that actually want to hold over the week or hold potential swings during news, especially some people trade during news weeks, to be able to hold it and not have to worry about being taken out by the fact that equity just reset an hour ago and now they're gone, right? So we try to kind of implement the balance side of things for that reason.
We've seen some prop firms, even some big ones such as Trader Central Fund and all their white labels, not be able to guarantee funding even when traders pass all parameters while following all rules laid out for them due to something called a risk team. Can the same be said for Ment Funding? Is everyone that passes guaranteed funding, or is there some people that aren't going to be able to pass even if they pass all the parameters?
Yeah, so before I even delve into that, if you pass the model, you are going to be funded. There is no such thing as a risk team on the back end that's going to evaluate someone's certain ability to trade or the type of trades they took, because at the end of the day, trading is a very, very unique thing, right? Everyone has a unique model that they have an approach to trading, and everyone has a different trading plan and way of trading. Some people aim for that higher RR gain that they make in the first second of a week, and that's their entire money, or the first 15 seconds or the first minute, right? Some people like to capitalize on news moves. Some people like to capitalize on a few days, right? Instead of having a risk team that just kind of sits there and determines whether you're a fit or not, we've laid out very specific rules where you either hit the 10% or you don't, right? So you either hit the 10% or you violate our other two rules before you hit it. If you do, you're out. If you hit the 10%, you're in. Whether you do that in the first minute of receiving your funded account and catch a 100 pip move, right? Whether you do it in the first month, the first 2 months, or even the first year, you'll be funded. There's no such thing as a risk team assessing your risk. The risk is assessed in the parameters we provide. And if you pass those parameters, you've done everything that we've wanted you to do as a successful trader, or what we believe to be a consistent trader.
One of those parameters is going to be a little bit lower leverage than we were used to with seeing with other big prop firms such as FTMO, The Fund Trader, MyForex Funds. Why does Ment Funding have a lower leverage amount, and why do you require stop losses for your prop firm?
So we have the low leverage for kind of a variety of reasons, but I think the main one is to gauge the risk of someone's ability to trade and then actually be flexible a little bit with some of the parameters of their own trading plan to trade with our firm. So oftentimes a 1 to 10 leverage is going to allow traders that are already on the 15, 30, 1 hour charts to still trade the same way they have if they're operating on a 1% risk or so. Otherwise, if you're someone that's a scalper and likes to catch a lot smaller moves, well, you're going to have to forego some of that 1% risk or even higher and bring it down, right? We want to see the ability and flexibility in traders to see a leverage and to actually work with that leverage to either bring down their trading until they get past that tipping point, until where they can start to pick up the way they trade and the certain lot sizes they trade. And in other forms, we also want to make sure that people are not one-off fluking it. Now, the interesting thing about 1 to 10 leverage is on any account that you can get funded with Ment Funding on, really a max lot size open account for the leverage permitted only needs a 100 pip move, right? So it could be a 20, 20, 60. It could be a 100 pip move on gold. And these moves happen within 15 minutes to 30 minutes on gold, for instance, or an hour to 2 hours, maybe even a day on euro US dollar. So the leverage is not going to limit the time aspect of things. Instead, if you really wanted to pass in the first day, even in the first 1 hour, you could under the presented leverage. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to actually fund you with real money under risk parameters, of course, agreed by the investors and by you, since we're presenting everything to you as clear cut as can be. And what a lot of people, I think, fail to realize is that real prop firms that actually do operate with real money in the market, right, such as like TD Ameritrade or some of those prop firms that operate in like Manhattan or New York, often bring on traders and offer them at max 1 to 3, 1 to 4 leverage. And when they do that, they ask the trader, pay them for the monthly like desk fee and monthly provision of data fee, right? So there's a lot of fees associated with a leverage that high. And the reason those leverages are offered is because they are within the real parameters of what real trading looks like. So we want to take that to the next step and offer it at 1 to 10. So although it's much lower than what you're seeing on the internet right now or in the industry, We also offer it in, of course, a live environment, a non-simulated environment, a guaranteed funding environment, and a one-step funding model for those that are actually ready to take their knowledge and transform it straight to the charts with live, large accounts that they can compound infinitely, right? We're giving the power to the trader, and that's the best way that we could think of to do it, right? And the beautiful thing about this leverage is, like I said, I didn't want to slap my name on the same kind of redone firm. So I don't think that it's bad if you want to go with something like FTMO, because of course they've been established. So by all means, someone with a larger lot size, and if you're sure you can complete their two-step, by all means. But we wanted to offer that new model, especially from the success I've seen in students and the failure I saw as a result of weird gimmicky rules that are kind of just thrown at you to fail you faster, make you emotionally change your rules, right? If you're taking an FTMO account, you're 15 days in. And by the way, you have more like 22, 21 days because of the weekend. And you're getting close to that day mark, you might start upping your risk. You're going to start trading differently. We want to incentivize either reduced risk or the same trading that made that trader consistent in the first place. So by bringing on those people and letting them trade full-time for us, we will slowly transition from a business model that may make more in the beginning from failed challenges into a model that's going to make a big proportion of its money from the funded traders. And for proof of this, I'm sure, as we all know what happened to some other firms, when they made parameters too good, they made shit tons of money in the very beginning, a lot. But slowly, good traders that saw those rules began to get on because they're like, why wouldn't I trade these rules? And those traders outdid all of the failure. In our mind, we want slowly for the good traders to get to this point where all the money we're making from our firm and paying out to our investors and the passive income they're making from investing in you is on the actual profitable traders' entries, right? So that's why Mentfunding is presented the way it is. And of course, if you might not like the leverage, I understand, but this is the best way we could provide it in this specific real setting.
There are definitely a lot of pros and cons with your prop firm compared to other ones in this industry. I definitely don't think it's for everyone, but I think for a lot of people, especially those who don't need the ultra high leverage, this might be a really, really good choice for them. Is there any chance we can expect to see some parameters be even more loosened in the near future?
Yeah, so honestly, most of the stable parameters, daily loss, the drawdown, being locked in, the ability to compound, payouts whenever you want, are going to stay the same probably into the foreseeable future. Now, we might be a little bit more lenient and begin to implement the weekend holding could be probably allowed to allow for some swing traders potentially come on. But overall, the parameters are definitely going to stay the same, right? We are trying to bring on specific traders that understand the way that we have built out our model. Again, like I said, I know it's not going to be for everyone. And for scalpers, I mean, I'm a scalper myself, and I'll be going with this model, probably with a $1 million, like hands down, because then I'll still be able to risk 0.2% or whatever to build up that account slowly. But you got to consider it from a scalable end, right? On a $1 million, which you can have multiple of, by the way, 0.2% is already $2,000. And, you know, making 1 RR, 2 RR, even 10 RR on that is more than enough to cover you for, I mean, it's a yearly average salary in some areas, but, you know, it's a very good salary that you can make for yourself. And again, there's no reason that you would be going with this firm unless you are actually ready to get funded, right? The only way you fail is you hit one of those breach parameters. There's never going to be a time element that comes in the way. And that might mean you move down that risk just a tiny bit. You move down that risk percentage. Maybe you start trading a little bit more on indices or something that have some more larger spreads and larger leverage at our place. But overall, concerning the tightening of parameters, I think they will stay as tight as they are. For now, we want to make sure that the environment stays fair and equal to the investors and to you guys, and that you guys understand exactly what we provide for you.
How's your background with VVS and MentFX helped you in creating this firm?
Yeah, so as a lot of you may know, I have a few videos on my actual YouTube channel talking about this. I was actually a student of VVS a very long time ago when it was still primarily Elliott. I met Blake during my time there. And during my time of learning Elliott, I was also introduced to some of the other greats, Wyckoff, a little bit of Ice-T on the side. As you guys know, he influenced me a tiny bit. And over time, I was able to take that knowledge and transition it into education and transition it into profitability for myself.
In your opinion, why do you think Mentfunding is the best prop firm?
I think the fact that we can give any type of trader, with the exception currently of long-term swing traders, there's still ways around that, but with the exception of the average super long holder past the weekend, we're giving real funded traders that want to go and start trading real capital the chance to do so without being kind of locked into a gimmicky simulation like environment where they have a chance of failing, even if it isn't their trading plan's fault, and even if they're profitable. So I think that people that know they're profitable and want to quickly amass that wealth at a very large rate, or even start a little bit lower at 100K and move their way up, they have the ability to do that with us and build their account forever with no hidden fees and nothing of that nature.
As you mentioned earlier, I'm also really excited to try out the $1 million account. That sounds extremely exciting. I'm happy that your prop firm is able to offer that so much money right off the bat. That's incredible. And with all the diversity from trading that 8cap provides, that's just the level up from there. So let me know in the comments below for you guys if you guys want me to do a video series in this whole prop firm space where I trade these random pairs that 8cap provides, which are so incredible, such as the 1-inch coin and all these other random cryptocurrencies and different stocks that they have on there to try and make a funded account. I think it'd be pretty cool. You guys let me know in the comments if you guys think that's pretty interesting. Thank you so much, Anton, for coming on to this review and showing your beautiful face. I really, really appreciate you coming on here. I wish you success with your new, very unique prop firm.
So thank you, Blake. Thanks for having me on. And I hope you guys had a better look into Ment Funding. Go get funded.
Thank you so much for making the video. I really appreciate it. If you want to see me interview other prop firm founders, check out this playlist right here. I'm sure you're going to learn quite a bit if you watch the whole thing. You'll be way more equipped to knowing which prop firm is best for you.